was a level 1. They said they were all level 1s before when I asked them about this.
Yeah, I mean, I got a huge playlist of demos building up.
Yeah, you do. I know, and it's great, but it doesn't serve Bankless DAO in the sense that, like, if anything, I'm, God forbid anything were to happen to you, it's not a very decentralized method of storing those.
Well, I mean, I mean, there being more YouTubers pushing bankless content is more decentralized, because if any one of us gets shut down and banned by YouTube, there's still other YouTubers to pick up that stream and get that content out. So having more folks do it is actually more decentralized.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, the problem is with YouTube, but yeah, no, I mean, I've just been doing the work, volunteer for Coordinate. They finally got a work stream set up in DAOLationships. So it's like an evolving process, and this just ends up being a good time for me.
Yeah. I don't know.
And
maybe we
all
can...
I need is access to the YouTube, and I can stream it just as easily to the Bankless YouTube as I can my own.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if maybe we could, seeing as how these are like Web3 projects and Fight Club is all about, maybe we can just host all the demos onto Fight Club, and just increase the content over there. But I don't know, just a thought. But also, Nishant, welcome.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Sorry, we were just doing some housekeeping items there.
No, I also got delayed in joining the stage, but thanks for adding me, Chris.
Yeah, of course, no problem. So Ernest, I believe, will be streaming these to his YouTube channel, and you, Nishant, will be able to share your screen, and Ernest will just stream that directly to his channel. You'll also be able to get a recording of that, so you can share that with people after the fact. So the only thing I would say is make sure you keep your screen sharing live for the duration of the event, even if you're just showing your homepage or something like that. It just adds some visual element to the event.
I see. Okay.
And as a matter of fact, we are live.
Just a moment. So perfect. It's great. I'm just gonna start and yeah. So share my screen. From the entire screen, maybe is good. Yeah, perfect. All right, guys. Good morning. GM. Yeah. So, before we get into the demo, there are a couple of things I really wanted to establish, which is more on a principle level. Because you look at something in a context. So, what is the context of Lomads? The first thing is that we have set up our platform to progressively decentralize. So we are a DAO tool, but eventually we will become a DAO. So which means customers will have a say in the governance and in the future, revenue structure, so on and so forth. The second important thing is we are also setting ourselves up for open source. For example, if you see our platform has soul-bound tokens and stuff, and so this is public. Gnosis Safe is public, and we'll be adding more stuff here. So the idea is that yes, we will be building utility, but we are not in the generation of Google and Facebook, where everything is closed, so people can further build on it, and actually they are. So these are two, important things. A lot of other tooling products out there are, generally SaaS style. But we thought that, okay, what does it mean to be like really crypto native? Another key insight that if you ask me, is my product relevant for bankless? I would say probably no. Because the thing is, different organizations have different needs at different stages of maturity. When you say DAO, I mean, in my head, I see 10 different things, basis different stages of maturity, and different degrees of decentralization, also different types of problems they are solving. So internally, we call it like at least 4 stages of maturity, hatchings, nestling, juvenile, and adult. I would rather place bankless at the adult level, and we have started designing at sort of nestling level, and the product will gradually mature to it. So this is something also I wanted to say upfront, because I don't hear it quite often. Okay, so what does Lomads do? So this is how the dashboard looks, and I would say that it's really about the tango of capital and people. If you know the dance of these, if you can really orchestrate the dance of capital and people in your organization, you could very well be on your way to financial viability. And these are the 2 resources we picked up and tried to put it on one dashboard. So now you see that the side panels are sort of hidden, whatever it is. By the way, you can hear me well and you see my screen well, right? Before I proceed?
Yep, coming in loud and clear.
All right, fantastic. So a very, very simple screen. The idea is that in less than 7 seconds, you should be able to figure out what needs to be done. If there are any transactions to be approved in your treasury, you can approve it. If there are any submissions in bounties and all, it really pops out. Same for ongoing work. And here also the space is really prominent for action notifications, because one of the big problems with DAOs or many Web3 organization is really the burnout, and if you really are doing your work from Discord, you might be jumping from one wormhole to another wormhole. You can get distracted. So there has to be a place which really abstracts the value creating pieces, and puts it prominently and personalizes. So basically there is a distinction between my workspace and all workspace, my tasks and all tasks, and you can see everything. But why overwhelm you? And this is another thing we take very seriously: cognitive load. So for example, if you are not using settings every day, why should it be in the forefront? It has to be hidden in the background. If you're not using this, why should it distract you? So again, this was like more on the principle level. I really like to dwell on the principle, because like features then kind of follow from there. So now we come to the core functionality. So as I said, it's about really find capital and people. So let's see the first part, capital, the money management. So what we do is basically build it on Gnosis Safe. So you can also use the Gnosis Safe internet, interface directly, or you can import it here. We're currently live on Polygon. So this is what you see, all the transaction labeled. If you want to go on chain and see it, you can see all the transactions. And so the first kind of transaction is simple batch transactions. So you choose your token, you just do these things, you write the amount and, Uber or whatever, and you sort of approve it, okay? So it's as easy as that, right? So you approve the transactions and it just comes here, okay? For the next person to sign, coffee, Uber, whatever it is, one of them. The second one here is your recurring payments. So you might have some core contributors, who are being paid on a weekly, monthly basis. It's super simple to create them. Just pick their name up, select the token that you want to give, the frequency, the date, and the same story. You create it, you sign it. It's super simple. Do I have a prompt? Yeah. Okay. Well. The second, so that's the second type of transaction. After batch transaction and single, you have recurring payments. Then you have bounties, okay? So if you have bounties, clearly you will see, if there is a submission, the submission, okay, the compensation, the deadline, If there is a submission, you check it. Okay, what is this? Oh, funny videos, very good. This guy deserves the thing, and you approve it. And it just goes and becomes a transaction right here in the treasury. Okay, so share it, funny video, 1x2 sign, the second person will sign. Okay, now you have a fourth kind of transaction, which is what is it called? Milestone based. So let's say you are doing a podcast, so you can decide a format, identify the person to be interviewed, recording and editing, publish and promote. And maybe there are 4 people working on it, and you say that the total cost is perhaps $1,000, and each part has 25% weightage. So the first one, when it's done, okay, the admin comes. And just one more thing, that we are seeing the dashboard from the admin's perspective, okay? And there are different roles, which I will just show you after this in the organization, and everybody will see differently, okay? So we come here, so we say that, okay, maybe this guy has done 40% of the work and they have done, less of work. It's okay, you decide, or you can split equally, or you can just make a batch transaction. So it is as easy as this to, just pay everybody. So you have this whole gamut of transactions done. So yeah, and why this? Because if you just do bounties, I mean, this is a short-term game. You want more accountability. You want your contributors, good quality contributors, to retain, retain your contributors, and also sort of act as a proxy for work contract. So if somebody has a 5-star, they're more likely to, like in Airbnb, perform better. So that's sort of the things that the Soulbound token does, which every organization can launch for themselves. And again, it's on chain, so you can basically see the minting 16, 19, 29, 30, 77. So as long as we created this test dashboard, it can be minted. So yeah. And the other function is that what will you do with the stored data? The thing is, it has more utility if it can provide you access and different kinds of access based on your role. And that is what you do. So here we are asking for, this particular organization asks for email, Discord, and Telegram, which gets stored on the SBT, mark my words, in an encrypted form. Okay, because you don't want these to be seen. Okay, so but this will give you access to different platforms. So let's say we take the example, call this guy Kyle, or pick a name, Jared. Okay, so they're part of this podcast, and you want all the people to have edit access to this page. Okay, so you will have to typically add an email. In real world, we still use Notion. Maybe we have all the Web3 tools, but a lot of people use it. So platform, submissions, and access control, and you do okay. All right, so now you see this is the token gated link. So all the people in this workspace, when they click on this, they can get edit access to this. So you see how that happens. So now it's asking me to decrypt my information on my Soulbound token, my email information, because Notion still needs, my email. And I gave it the access. And if you go here, you will see that Nishant is added at the bottom of it. Okay. Same story for Discord. Same story for GitHub, and more tools we will add as the demand comes. So what it does is, this is the most basic level, is that the Soulbound token gives you access to these different tools which you use on a day-to-day basis without without the core contributor spending time on individually giving you access to your Figma and GitHub and so on and so forth. So that's what it does. And as I said, that we are not today maybe designing for Bankless, but this can become more automated and rule-based, that if you have this many reputation points, or if you have this characteristic and that characteristic, you can access this thing. So these are the things you can do. We have defined permissions beforehand. So far, what you were seeing was from the admin's perspective. So admin can, really do all the transactions, view transactions, remove members. Core contributor cannot send tokens, but they can see it. Active and core contributor have different roles, and this is of course going to be editable in upcoming version, next version. But this is a template which we found was the most common in the stages of organization that we are referring to. I mean, people want to change the name of workspaces to, pods or projects or departments or functions, tasks to bounties, admin to steward. You can do all those things. And like we have integrated Gnosis Safe so deep, that you don't have to even go to change the signature and everything. If you want to change the owners, here everybody is admin because this is a test dashboard. You can just add from here, and you can just go to the next level, save and sign it, okay, and change the stuff. So I would say that that's pretty much. I mean, there are other small things, but just summing it up, you on one dashboard in less than 7 seconds, when you open it in the morning for that organization, you should really understand what you need to do today to bring value, or as an admin, what are the things you need to get out of the way, pay. So that is one of the things here. And from an organization's perspective, we saw all the token launches and discussions around, what governance, which is great, but I think now DAOs or organizations have reached a stage where we have to really do operations or work or coordination to produce value. And this really boils down to what I was saying, that really the tango of capital and people. And if you see it, we just hope that more and more organizations will be viable, which is most important, because you just don't want to raise funds and then are gone in some time. So yes, now I'm open to questions, and thanks for your patient listening.
Yeah, thanks for that very succinct demo. That was, I see you've been practicing that. Got through that quickly and efficiently, and explained it very well. There's definitely a lot to unpack there. Starting with approving transactions, that's something we're all familiar with, being multi-signers. Currently, many of the guilds use Parcel for any mainnet transactions. One benefit of Parcel is that they sponsor the gas. Do you have any sort of gas fees involved with that? Is it just the regular gas fees, or do you sponsor those?
Not yet sponsoring. I mean, of course, you save the gas fees when you do batch transactions, like just in case of milestones or, here. So, and also in the recurring payment, you don't have to approve every month. Huh? It's just once you approve. So basically you are saving the gas fee here as well.
Okay, so that is taken from the account on a regular basis without any gas?
Yeah, so just one time you approve it. After, if it's going, it keeps going unless you come and edit it here, and you just either, stop it or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So,
yeah. And then, sorry if you've already covered this because you did go over Gnosis Safe and the Gnosis Safe integration there. But what about multi-chain safes? I know, speaking from Fight Club, we have an ETH treasury, a Polygon treasury, a Polygon NFT safe, and another safe. And with another DAO admin, we have an ETH safe, a Polygon safe, an Optimism safe. So can you view all of those safes from one place?
Yeah, so that feature is coming. So right now, as you see, its Polygon is there, and we have, because that feature is already available on Gnosis, so we are sort of working on it. And I think it should be available in about a month's time.
Okay. That's great. So the bounties, I thought, was also interesting. So kind of touches on what you could do with D work. or Wonderverse. Are there any things that you have that stand out in terms of bounties and getting work done that they don't have, or is there anything that you're working on to become feature parallel?
I think the use case for bounty is mostly solved, you know. So, I mean, like you can import them from GitHub, you can import it from Trello, and Notion will be added. And, you know, so you have these things. The only thing that is different here is that, you know, the transaction goes right here. It's labeled in your treasury. So, for example, if it's a bounty, you see the name, Ravindra, how many alarms do you set up for yourself, the name, and everything you see here, okay? So I would say that when we were designing bounties, as you see that you only see a few, and we don't overwhelm you with, you know, more information. So for us, like when I saw, to be honest, Wonderverse, I was sort of inspired that you know, like you need to really reduce the cognitive load, because in trying to be all in one, sometimes you really tax a lot of our you know, brain. Yeah, so that's one design principle, you know. It's just between, let's say, Apple and Microsoft, you know, stuff like that. You know, some people would like our design language, you know, simpler and cleaner, and some people may like more, I would, you know, like I want to see everything sort of thing.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so how would you go about creating a bounty?
Oh, it's simple. So right here in the task section, you can just write, you know, the prod, and you can write descriptions. You have a discussion channel. You can just put anything here. Where are you, boys? Yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah, there are a couple of one interesting thing I forgot. Okay. So you have a workspace also, right? So basically, if you, or let's say, customer segmentation, then everybody can see the submissions under there. So it's not just one. The reviewer will review it, but it will come under that thing. So yeah, and then if it's open, then you know you can just choose filter by roles, and you can choose from Discord as well, that all contributors see it, and you can just do this, and then you have provide the submission link. If not, it's okay. You can choose the compensation Matic, and maybe you just do 0.2, and then you do create. You know, that's all. So it will create it, and then you know, like somebody will basically see it under when they see on from their dashboard. Okay.
Okay, and then you had another portion in there when it comes to payment where you can split the bounty by the contributors. So you've got 4 people who worked on that work stream, or that
We call it
specific task.
milestones. Yeah, the milestones actually. So it was here, as you see. We just approved one, right? So this is basically your, and often, you know, because we wanted to focus more on ongoing collaboration, because, you know, the thing is, an organization can be dealing with different types of problem, you know, some more well-defined, some more open-ended, okay? So for the well-defined ones, you can have bounties, but for the more open-ended ones, you can have milestones. And actually, you can have KPI as well, you know, so that is something I didn't show, but, you know, you have key results also. You can do that, and that's a separate story. Let's focus on milestone. So milestone, if you approve it, you just see all the people part of that milestone. You can manually assign the proportion, or you can just split equally and do this. It just becomes a batch transaction.
Rather than a percentage, would you be able to use a fixed amount? So if it was, say, a 10,000 bounty bank and you wanted to split it up in specific numbers, or more complicated, you know, maybe percentages doesn't always work.
Yeah, sure. So what we have to do is, the thing is here, the numbers are being shown, right? So already you can change it to vary the numbers, okay? And the other thing we can, of course, this is just a front end thing, you know. So we can, if there is a use case there, we can definitely do that.
Okay.
I mean, refine it. Right
what
now,
happens
we were just
to the remainder if you accidentally put in a total that doesn't add up to 100? What happens to the remainder?
Let's see.
Okay.
It gives you a warning. Yeah. So you have to match it up, you know. So yeah. So it should go basically if it's there, and you know, you see the figures in the side, and you do this, And if it's done properly, then it just goes and become a transaction.
Okay, yeah. One UI UX recommendation I would make is just to add a little total that adds up at the bottom there of the percentages, and then you can see that without having to press execute. But yeah, other than that, I love that that integration.
And as I was telling you, if there were tasks under it, all the 4 guys will see all the submissions. So basically, it becomes your work area. And the thing is, so for example, now what we are doing is we are expanding to other chains by bounties. Okay, so let's say if I'm going to use network and I create some bounties for there, then I can make this whole page public. So this link, there's in the next version a sharing link will come here. So this whole page will go and become public, and you can see bounties related to this work stream, and if there is any milestones and stuff and details, and then you can apply. Yeah, so these are some of the things, and the SBT part is something we have our own way of doing it, which is for permission. I already showed you for Notion. I can show you for Discord. This is all same. So it's as we say on our website that it's really about how you create music. There are 7 notes, but people create different music from there. So similarly, it's really how you are combining the elements, what you are building it towards, that matters. That the soulbound token and the transactions basically will come together to create more permissionless systems. Okay, the tokens and the transactions are together, like soulbound token, because transactions are also a way of measuring your value to the organization. So like DORG does, so it gives you reputation point in proportion to the payout that you are getting. So the value, you are creating for the organization, and your kind of token, which keeps a record, they should be together. What is left out can be done in a more coordinate style, in a subjective manner, and that can come later, whether by integrating coordinate or by doing a simpler thing. But why I say or doing a simpler thing? Because I wouldn't recommend coordinate to a smaller organization. It is a little bit more complex. I would want a much simpler version for an organization which has 30 people. So that is something that design consciousness has to come. That what is the persona that you are designing for? Is it an organization with 40, 50 people, or is it an organization with 500 people with a different level of automation and
Yes.
day-to-day challenges? And if that discussion happens, I think the design will improve overall.
Of course, yeah. Bankless DAO had its own problems with Coordinate recently. And to be honest, the work stream was pretty well organized. We went through multiple iterations of how to allocate to the different levels within the DAO. So we have guest pass level 1, level 2, and different amounts of bank were allocated to each group of people. We saw over time that certain groups, like the level 2, would grow. And so you would get less allocation depending on the number of people in that pool. And so the ops team really worked well to figure out those things and make it fair for everybody. Unfortunately, it was kind of taken over by a member who was using he was the coordinate administrator, and he was taking advantage. So we've put that on pause, and we're exploring Thrivecoin for compensation. But yeah, that's another story for another day. I really like the SBTs. Another question on those. In terms of the SBT, so there are unique identifiers for each SBT. This is one thing which came up in a conversation with Rep 3. They were saying that they couldn't use DWork credentials as a means of measuring on-chain activity because all of the credentials were essentially the same ID. And I haven't heard back from DWork on that. So any comments there?
So here, what it's recording right now is what's happening on the platform. So if you are, let's say Chris is doing this milestone, then this milestone is recorded in each individual's, SBT, and then if you are doing tasks, it's being recorded there. If you are doing KPIs, like for example, you have KPIs also here, that you can review the KPIs, how it's going every month and stuff like that. Because I have worked in innovation, so really think about all different complexities of problems, from very well-defined problems to very not well-defined problems. And when the problem is not very well-defined, you have to work with KPIs. You have to define that what tells you that you are progressing. So this is the last bit, which is there. So all this thing will be recorded on the SBT when they are kind of validated. And the fact that it is open source, which I kind of showed you, is that others can build on top of it. So for example, I have actually an example here, something. So we have several partners. One of them is Reputable Health, okay? So they are using our SBT, will use our SBT to record sleep data and, and that other kind of data as well, running data and stuff, okay? So this is there. We are gonna make that announcement. So they are AI-powered platform that provides personalized health and wellness recommendation based on real-world data. And so basically their members will have the same SBT launched, but they will make a few more data fields there, to record other data as well. And then the SBT will be used for, reward. And so yeah, this is something which is coming. So this allows me to also point out one more approach of our design, is that instead of adding everything in one product, we are also thinking of making some sister products. So for them, basically taking them as an example, we made a sister product where actually you can sell SBT membership. So before customers mint SBT, they will pay, let's say, $100. Then they will mint their SBT, which will record their data and stuff. And then that can be used for other rule-based permissions. So again, the whole idea was that on one dashboard, I don't want it to be an all-in-one dashboard where you have to have a consultant to explain you the ERP implementation, but there are just some sister products which kind of work with each other and with other products.
Okay, I love the fact that it's open source and people can build on top of this. I can see things like classifications of tasks completed, making sense. If you have like a design task which is completed, then you could say you have a Bankless DAO design task completed, and 5 of those then equals a level up, etc. So yeah, yes. That's great. Continue, yeah.
No, I think that's all. I mean,
okay. I thought you were going to say something there.
No, I mean, I said more than I intended to. Actually, the sister product thing was not a part of this demo. Also,
no, that's great. No, that's all. It's all part of it. And actually, if you can even share a link to that Medium article because those sorts of partnerships are great. Yeah, you can share a link either in the Telegram or in the chat here within the Amphitheater. And in terms of like Notion pages, does that require an enterprise account for Notion?
Enterprise account? Like what is happening in us?
Or some sort of subscription account?
I think
could that be done through a free account?
I think so. All you have to do is just add hello at lomads.co as one of the admins, because it's that's how we play. And I think something similar is used by Charmverse as well. But in case of Notion, you just add hello and then the permissions can be done.
Okay.
Yeah. And in the workspace and all, there is absolutely you can use Discord roles and everything. This is something cool that, let's say, it can be, a workspace can be let's say drinks and donuts, whatever. So you just do this, then you go roles and you choose from here everybody who is whitelisted. You can create it. Okay, so like those who are sort of drinks and dono, like any member who is whitelisted will be here. And this is where token gating, other token gating is also going to come. So at this stage, let's say you are here, and when we say filter by, so filter by right now, there is invitation. So you can select people manually. You can select people by role, like within Lomads and or Discord. Or the third option, which is going to come, is token, that you put the smart contract of that token. That's with bio.xyz, a decentralized DAO. So for them, some aspects of privacy is very important. Like if a research is in very early planning stage, you want to keep it confidential, then it becomes open in due course. So these kind of checks and balances are required by customers, that who can see what. When you go to all workspaces, as an admin, what can you see, and otherwise what can you see? So yeah, that's one of the things about workspaces.
Okay. So we have a few people in the audience. Just wondering if anybody wanted to come up on stage or ask a question in the chat there. In the meantime, while you're thinking about it, I was going to ask. Oh, you can leave your screen open there because we're just still streaming. Okay, so I'm famous for like having a lot of random thoughts flying through my head as these demos go on, and please correct me if I'm off in the wrong direction here. Oh yeah, deck is good. You can even share a link to the deck in the chat. That would be fantastic.
I can, unless you have the thought. I had one story I wanted to tell you. Which I see. So I use this example of mainframe and PC that. Like when microprocessors came, we were able to make PC, but a PC does not mean that you are miniaturizing, mainframe and making PC. Basically, you have to rethink the architecture. And when it came into being, there was a huge jump in accessibility and scale. And that's what I say about the new organization that is emerging. The what is called analogous role of microprocessors is taken here by smart contracts and token. And you would have Web3 era organization. I have avoided using the term DAO because we are designing the tool for the whole spectrum, and it's and companies can evolve through it. All right. But I think what smart contracts and token can do is drastically reduce roles in accounting, roles in HR, roles in I would say project management. And we are going to see like almost as many sort of organizations as we had Facebook groups, which was around 400 million. So it's going to become so easy because, coming back to the demo, I mean, like creating an organization is so simple. Like you can just go and you can say that, Game of Thrones, and, you have your public address created. You can add a bunch of people here. Maybe just add one to see. So you have a Narcissus, a safe. Let's go here. I mean, like, so you see how I'm like sneaking these new demo things. This is something also we could have skipped, but it just came. So yeah, there you go. And yeah, so add an existing safe. Okay, let's say, because a lot of people have already started are already using Narcissus, right? So you can just do bullets, and you can define the safe. It just brings you the safe, also owners of it, admins of it, and what is the balance, and you go add safe, okay, and that's almost like this. And this is the time you take to create a Facebook group. Then why would I not imagine that the numbers could reach in a few years, like those of Facebook groups? Because I can create everything, and then I can ask all my friends to send me tokens, and boom. And we have actually seen, very organically these things happening, So like Lomads 1.0 was an IRL startup, IRL social startup, and we had, this is the fun part, okay? Not this girl, but what's coming afterwards. Yeah. so we had these real people doing music jam and exhibitions and everything, and what we saw, that let's say this filmmaker group, Okay, so they would informally pool their money to make short films, and we were solving their problems, and we realized that okay, and I actually saw these things organically happening, because yeah, like, and this is from real, that filmmaker group, because I was very personally involved in that group, um, and they had these departments and roles and vision, and nothing to do with Web3, nothing, and we were just another app, and they had like all the goals set up, and thoughts on non-defect mission and everything, and that actually just naturally led me to DAOs, and then I put my innovation lens to really identify like how others are solving versus how we should solve, and then you see my point of view on open sourcing, on using our token things, like the whole tokenomics is done, like at least the tentative version. So, and then we did it. So, but only sadness is that my previous customers are not using it because they are still skeptical of crypto. But I have to give them the credit that it was when I saw that the artists are pooling their money together to do rent a space and do their own art exhibitions, or small businesses are doing pop-ups and stuff like that, like this was a pop-up and all. So we saw these things happening in Paris, and we naturally came to build this. So a lot of what I do is keeping that in mind, those customers, and I hope that eventually they will start once the UX becomes even more streamlined.
Yes, yeah. I mean, crypto does seem to be a big blocker for the Web2 users. And okay, so the ultimate mission of Bankless DAO is to onboard more users to Web3. You're creating a beautiful Web3 tool. I feel like there are some Web2 software services in place that it might be beneficial to integrate with. So, for example, Asana as a task manager, you mentioned already integrating with that was a job a project board one. I can't remember off the top of my head. Trello. Will that actually import tasks from Trello that you can then convert into a bounty and pay that without having to recreate the bounty within Lomads?
Absolutely. So when you import it from GitHub or Trello, it comes as a draft. Here, a new section is created as draft, and then you put the bounties for each of them, and you keep making them live.
Okay. And so, what are some of the other platforms that you use besides GitHub and Trello? Or do you have a full list, or is it just anything that has an API you can integrate with?
No, we are right now going as per customer demands, So another one we have to do is Google for sure, because we see a lot of people using Google Drives, Google Sheets and all. So managing the, edit options for them, in Trello. We will see as the demand comes, as you said, Asana. So we will add them.
Yeah, we use Asana for Bankless Card. Then other projects and guilds and departments use D-Work. That's quite popular around here.
Yeah. No, they have been around for some time, and I would say that they're quite extensive. So I mean, like, yes, they're there. They have good customer base. Yeah.
Interesting. So Ernest says, is this on Mumbai, and are you going to be at ETHCC?
I'm gonna get ETHCC.
Oh, are you going to be at ETHCC in Paris?
Okay. Well, the first question is it's on Girly and Polygon. Okay, so Girly testnet. If you want to just test and try, I can add you, and Polygon also you can do. So usually what I do, when people sign up on the website, I add everyone as an admin. You see here on the test dashboard, so that you see a fully loaded dashboard as opposed to, let's say, an empty dashboard like this one. Okay, so I just, to give you a taste of it, I add you here, and then you can just go ahead and create your organization, either on Girly or on Polygon, more will come. As regards ETH unfortunately, this time I won't be there. I live in Paris, but I'm gonna be in Mumbai. I think
That's Ernest. I didn't hear Mumbai or Paris. I don't know where you got these from. You've got like ears in the back of your head.
So it's not Mumbai. My software is not in Mumbai testnet, but I'm gonna be in Mumbai. And,
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna be there for a couple of months, and then we'll see. So yeah, but I'm gonna be in Paris Blockchain Week Summit just after this, and right now I'm in Bay Area. Next week I'm in New York. So anybody in that area, if they want to catch up, I'm here.
Okay, I think I asked this in the Telegram already. I cannot remember. Have you already gone through a raise, or are you currently raising?
We are raising our seed round actively. That's why I'm in Bay Area and New York.
Okay. Well, if you could share the deck, we have Tessa and also a few other contributors like CryptoDad and myself, and some other people around here who get involved with Fight Club, which is the venture DAO of Bankless DAO.
Amazing.
So we'd love to take a look at your deck and run it through the deal review.
Fantastic. Good timing, I must say. Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, like, I think that, like having a strategic partner like you, let's say some people from Bankless, because you really look at the whole ecosystem, and, like to succeed, you need more eyes and ears, so if people are really involved, and all you have to do is see the seeds here. Do we have the right seeds, and then, like as people, you surround yourself with people who can nurture it. I mean, like, it's going to be great. So,
yes. Feed many birds from one seed, of course.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Once again, any more questions from the audience? It's filled up quite nicely, actually. Those of Ernest did post a link to the live stream in the chat, so you can go back and watch there. Also, a link to Nomads is, I don't have this to hand right now.
So Lomads.xyz, yeah?
XYZ. I'm going to drop that in the chat as well for anybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Ernest. We got the YouTube. Okay, and so this is live now. People can use it, or do we have to sign up for beta?
I prefer that sign up, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the hack here is that if you just go here, I mean, like, you can just sign up. I mean, that's not a problem. But I think if you just do it here, sign up, then I can send you a mail with instructions and a quick video. That's all.
Perfect. All right. I'm signing up right now, and I'm sure other people are as well. I think CryptoDad says done one, so hopefully he's signing up too. Boom, boom. All right. Well, cheers, Nishant. Thanks a lot for coming in. And say hi to the site guy from everybody at Bankless DAO, because we know and love him. We were hoping he was going to make it today.
I think it's too late for his time zone. Yeah.
Yeah. Indian time zone. Yeah. And we are looking forward to seeing how you're growing this. So good luck in San Fran. Good luck in Mumbai, and looking forward to seeing the next iterations.
All right. Thanks again. Thanks a lot, for having me today. It was a real pleasure, and I'm happy that I can share with you all, and I would love to hear your feedback. Those of you who try, because only by listening we get better. So we really value feedback. All right, thanks everybody.
All right,
and have a good rest of the day.
See ya. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm going to close the stage now.